It's the intensity of attachment to whatever that action was going on. The intensity of attachment to the doership or experiencership in that particular situation. It's not the vacuum that you're attached to. It's not the carpet that you're attached to. It's the whole idea that I am cleaning, and why should I do everything? Why is somebody else not doing it? Whatever that little story that went on, the attachment is to that story. You see what I'm saying? It's not the action per se, it's not what is happening in the surrounding per se. That little story will be the clue why I came out of it immediately or I got stuck into it for a long time. A very important thing to remind yourself, I am the witness. I am not this body that is the worker, if you're working at that time. I am the witness. I'm not this body that is interacting with the other family member. I'm not this family member only. Yeah, I'm not the mother, I'm not the father, I'm not the brother, I'm not the sister, I'm not the spouse, I'm not the son, I'm not the daughter. This recognition, when it becomes very strong, it's profound. It's profound. There is no more attaching to the story of this body. And then you will be able to see karmic flow brings in unpleasant also, but that unpleasant is a part of the script of this body. Yeah, for example, this body was given the role of a tragedy queen, and the tragedy queen has to perform certain actions, certain interactions which bring up a tragic situation. That is the role of this body in the scene. You're saying, no, this should not happen. Then it becomes a war between the I and the karmic flow. No, just accept it. Right now, the karmic flow is unpleasant. It's tragedy. It's sad. And so be it. I have got nothing to do with it. Do you realize that there is a little part of you which is so distant from the tragedy? Which has got nothing to do with it. Which is not attached to the tragedy. There is no crying, there is no feeling sorry for that little part in you. It's only when you jump back into the body of this waker and you believe that I am this person and I, this person, am experiencing this negative happening. I'm the experiencer of the sorrow. Then you pretend to cry. You pretend to be angry. You pretend all the time. You keep pretending every time the I jumps into the body. You pretend. And a part of you knows you are pretending. Do you realize this also? Isn't this a major inner conflict? I stand as the witness. I am not peaceful there. I jump in and I pretend to be the tragedy queen. I am not peaceful there. Do you realize this? This is war. This is war. This is between the I-ness and the karmic flow. A war between them. Just hold on to that natural part in me that is anyway dispassionate. I didn't have to manufacture that. I didn't have to cultivate it. It's not after attending a zillion sessions with Ekta that was born. No, that was always there. Even when I was ignorant, absolute ignorant, there was a part of me that remained unaffected by everything that happened, pleasant or unpleasant. That part, that is the witness. You hold on to that part of you. Then you are abiding in your nature of silence. Because that is silent. That doesn't have stories. That doesn't say, oh, I am not jumping in because of this, or I don't care. No, there are no words there. Have you realized it? It's just a silent, distant part of me that remains unaffected by all the chaos that happens here. Now, that same silent, distant part of me is continued from the waking into the dream. A dream sequence is on. Maybe it's a nightmare. Yes. A part of me is so scared, is part of that nightmare, is running away from whatever the ghost in the nightmare. That part is so scared, so afraid that it makes the dream dissolve, and you come to the waker and you feel even the waker is afraid. But it is that same part that says, oh, it was a dream. You brush it aside and you go back to sleep and you forget it. However dramatic, however fearful you were 1 minute ago, it's all gone. You have held on to that. You hold on to that very naturally in the dream or at the end of the dream arising. That's all you have to do. You have to hold on to it in the waking. You bring that same lesson from the dream to the waking and hold on to it and see, this is nothing but a dream. This tragedy that is happening in front of me is nothing but a dream. And some excitement is going on in the family, some wonderful achievement, that is also a dream. You hold on to this part that is ever untouched. That is the meaning of your nature of silence. That peripheral observation field has this innate quality. It does not need to be cultivated. It does not need to be manufactured. It does not need to be worked upon. And I will attend a zillion sessions and then I will build it up. There is no building it. Who taught you to brush away your dream? Did mama teach you? Did your papa teach you? Nobody taught you. It is an innate, inherent part of my nature. I wake up from a dream and I brush it aside. So it's innate, inherent. Very important words. I have to just hold on to that and I recognize that. I recognize that in the face of tragedy also. But what is my problem? The I jumps in and says, I am going through this tragedy. And a part of me knows I am pretending. That again is the same part, huh? The one that is telling you you're pretending. Stop. Pull back to it. Listen to it. It's an inner mother training this child, this mischievous child who wants to pretend to be the tragedy queen or the tragedy king, whatever. So hold on to it. It's the most beautiful part of my nature. It's silence. It's silence. It's a natural silence that is me. And renounce the noise of action. There's no I at 100.
There's no I.
No. So it is the karmic flow, which is 100%. There is only the karmic flow that can be 100%. I can never be 100%. It's not possible. The moment I jumps in, it spoils the show. Yes. Now,
So
I want to correct one more thing. You said that I'm not eating. You never eat. It's the body arising of hunger that comes up, peaks, and that's where there'll be a growling sound, there'll be something, a movement inside, and automatically a thought will follow. Maybe I should eat. Maybe a thought doesn't follow. The body just gets up, goes towards the refrigerator, gets whatever is made eats. Later you realize, oh, the body is eating. That's when the I came in. Has that happened? Yeah. So it's not that I do not eat. It is the karmic flow of that work happening. Just happening. And then there was the body arising of hunger. And the body just going and eating. And I know in retrospect that I am going to eat. I know in retrospect that the body is hungry. Are you there yet? Or do you still assume I am hungry? Do you still assume I am eating? Okay. That is what you need to check. Where am I? Where am I on this? When there is no I, that is the witness. Witness is not like a focal point. Only to explain Ekta does this, right? To separate from the waker. It's just a symbolism. It's not a focal point like this. It is like this. So when it is at the peripheral observation field, there's total consumption with the karmic flow. That is what you're saying, you're completely consumed. There is no I there. Yeah? So start realizing the difference. The I comes later when it says, I have been working for 4 hours. I am so good at this. See, I finished so much. Blah, 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 blah. The story. That is the I. Till now, there was no I. It was just the peripheral observation field honoring the karmic flow, one after another, without interfering. No interference. That is called what you said. I feel I'm totally consumed in the work. No, there is no I there.
Correct.
Yeah. Now work on bringing this into even other interactions with people, emotional situations with the spouse, with the son, difficult things, a problem with the neighbor, some drama happens. Are you able to stay away from the drama and see it is the body mind person which is involved in this drama with this neighbor called ABC, and there is an interaction happening and it's automatic. There is the exact same mechanism that was happening at work. One arising after another, one arising after another, one arising after another. Shalini says something to Mr. A says something to Shalini. It is happening automatically. I am at a distance. Then you become so clear, oh, I do not speak. I cannot speak. I, the witness, am beyond an invisible glass wall. I cannot get through it. I cannot go on to the other side where the waker is. The waker's body mind does something and then I see it. Means what? I'm separate from it, no? Otherwise, I would have known it. Right? Before the arising, I would be aware of what thought is going to arise. No, I don't. I'm separate. I'm behind an invisible glass wall. I feel that I am Ekta and I am the one whose hands are going out. But there is a very clear difference. No, Ekta isn't me. I am not inside Ekta. Do you see? It's a whole perspective change, the way you looked at things from the religious point of view or from the ignorance point of view. You thought, I am a little energy ball inside this physical body. Are you able to see? No, I am this infinite energy ball in which the body is. And it just is an arising that comes and goes. Huh? It's not even permanently there. Do you realize this? How many of you have seen this? That just comes and just goes? Yeah. Is it a clear understanding it's not permanently there? Put it down as homework. Do I recognize this or not yet? The body is not permanent. Yeah, it is not continuously there. Can I recognize this? When the karmic flow is just moving of its own accord and the witness maintains its stand, that is vichara. Yeah? And when the karmic flow comes up with something very attractive and the witness jumps in and says, I like this or I dislike this, that is vasana. Now understand, he himself, Sri Ram himself is saying, you drop all, renounce all kriyas, means renounce all lordships, because you are Paramatma. And those who walked on the path following Sri Ram, what did they do? They made him Paramatma. Yeah, he would have said, no, stop. I am not Lord Ram. I am Sri Ram. Yeah? I am Mr. Ram. I am not Lord Ram. He would have said that. And please take my idol off that mantelpiece. No, you're not supposed to worship me. You're supposed to look within. This is what Sri Ram would have said for verse 70.